wanted to talk about something that I find, these Facebook memories, and I find it today, or it come up, and it was, I maybe have talked about it briefly, but I wanted to talk about it in one episode, only about this, what happened in United States, that it have nothing with how long time it was since this happened, because this is about how to know God and how to I don't know what will come. I only want to talk about it, and my neighbors is back home, so I can't sit with my computer anymore. So I sit where I have most of the time been, in my living room, in my sofa, in front of the television, but I don't have the television on. I talk to you, and this was I was homeless in United States, and I had no money, and I was in the soup kitchen. I live in Portsmouth, Virginia, and you that know about United States, you know that Portsmouth is very much criminal things going on, and I lived with an African American woman. I pay her for a room, but then I didn't have any money to pay the rent, so I have to go, and I didn't know where to go to get a place to have a bed to sleep in, and I go to the soup kitchen there in Portsmouth, and I sit there and eat, and I have some black friends, some young boys that always come to me and sit and talk. I don't know why they sit with me, or if it was some status to sit with me. I don't know why, but they were intelligent young people, so it was nice to talk to them. And then suddenly it come in a man that, like, everyone knew him, like he got all the attention into this soup kitchen, and he say, I don't want any food. He say he didn't need the food, and he come straight to me and sit with my table, and he said that he was a pastor, and he want to help me, he said to me, and I should come with him. And today I don't understand why I walk with strangers that could kill me, could have done bad things to me. But it was like I have given up on life because of my situation. So I took risks. I knew that it was risk, but I took the risk because I wanted to change my life situation. So I went with this pastor, and he had some 3-4 men with him. So it was not only him, it was dangerous. It was about 4 men in the van that I go with. But then they pick up some girls, black girls. Everyone was black. It's only me that was white. And they took us into a hotel, and it was 2 girls or 3. I don't remember. Two or 3 girls that was in the same room, hotel room, as me, and they were doing drugs. They had their lights on in the night when I should sleep, but I sleep wherever I lay my head down. I go directly into sleep. It doesn't bother me that they were up and party, have the lights on, do drugs. And I was sleeping. I was like mental tired, so I sleep. And then the meaning was that we should get job, and the meaning was that we should give all the money that it was like a pimp, but with job to do. It was not sexual. We should work for this church, for this pastor, and no one of the men was working. It was this bad things about women, that we were like slaves. We were under the man, so it was we that should work, and the man should take the money. And later on, I come to know when the church was split up because they did drugs. The pastor and those men, they use us to work, and for the money we got, they did drugs in the church. So it was very bad. But these other women, they say they don't agree to it. They say, we will have our money. You don't get the money from us, from the money we work. They knew this pastor, that church. They knew that they did drugs, so they didn't want to pay for the men's drugs. They have their own money for the drugs they wanted. So they find a job for us. So we started in Lily Vernon, in Virginia Beach. Lily Vernon. This post order this, and we were cleaning the whole this building, and as I was white, and our supervisor, he said to me that he hates white people because of what white people have done to the black people, he said to me. He really hated me. And so those other women, the men that were, it was 10 people, and it was men in it that they had picked up for to work, not church people. It was men, young men, and they sweep the floor on in the industry location. So they were only on the floor cleaning up. And those black women, they were up in the office and they were cleaning in the office. And they didn't have so much work to do, so in the nights they were going into the computer room and were sleeping 2-3 hours. And but me, that man that hated me, he put me on to clean up the bathrooms, and it was many bathrooms, so it took me a whole night to clean up. It was just that I have finished the last bathroom, and then it was time to go home. So I was so very tired, and it happened that I knew that I can't be at home because that you be fired if you stay home one day, if you don't have any insurance. So it's so bad in the United States that you can walk away from your job. It was a bus driver I was talking to, and he told me that they even one day when he was driving the bus, there was a man that stopped him, and then the man said he was fired and he had to go immediately. When he was working, he was stopped and then kicked away. So it's very bad in the United States in that. And I suppose there is in some other countries also. This can't happen in Sweden, but that can happen in the United States. And it's very unsecurity in United States if you are on the lowest level in working. So here we got paid for be off the work. In Christmas time, is it 4 days that you're off from work and you get the money to be off the work. They pay you. So I was one night I was working and I was so extremely sick, and today I didn't know what it was. I was only very, very sick, very much fever. But today I know it was the inflammation in my body that show up, because a little later I couldn't walk on my legs because I had so much psoriasis that was into my joint. So I had to stop with what I was doing. And it was too hard for me to work in Virginia Beach and then those the church come and get us in the morning, and I was together with one deacon in the church. It was called a deacon, and I was together with him, and I lived together with him. It was a black man, African American, and we lived together. And I was thinking that, oh, that's good, because I am together with the deacons, and the pastor say we should be married also, because we couldn't live in sin. He said, the pastor. So we were up and did some papers, because it showed up that this deacon, he was already married, so he make his divorce paper from his other wife, and then he should marry me. But what they didn't know, it was that I was already married with this man from Texas. So I couldn't marry, but I let them believe in this to have somewhere to live, to get food and so I play with them, because they never asked me if I was single, but I was not single. I tried to, later on when I have some money, I did the paper of divorce and pay $60 for the papers to divorce my husband, because I didn't want to be married with him. And it took a little time, because I have to ask God. I asked God, now is it something important? That's why I should do this subject, because of this, what I'm going to tell you, that I ask God, can I divorce? Can I divorce? Because in the churches that I have been, they say you can't divorce. When you are married, you can't divorce. And I ask God, like I talking to God today, that I ask him in the air, not Jesus in a book or something. I ask him in the air, can I divorce? I said to God, and it took weeks, it took months, I think, before one day God answered me from the air, and he said that you can divorce if you didn't know me when you married the man. He said to me, and I understood. God doesn't need to say so much, because everything is included in the answer. When he talking, it is, you don't need to have all the words from him. You know it already, what's everything without words. And so I understood this, and this is for you that have hard with this. If you can divorce a man, that he's not good for you, you need to work on your marriage. But if you can't be with that man, my husband, he had HIV, and in that time he could kill me if we had sex together. He could have killed me. I was thinking like that, and the science didn't know so much, so it was deadly to live, to be married to this man, and he cheating on me, and he did drugs, and was drinking, my husband. So he was not a good man, but I was worried about, can I divorce this man? Because the whole time in the church they said that you can't divorce. And so God answered me that if you are not in God, if you don't know God, really are deep in this, what is God's will, if you are not, and you married a man, like you are in the world, and you marry a man of the world, then is it okay to divorce because you didn't know better? You didn't know how a man or a woman should be like. So that was okay to divorce because I didn't know God. In that time I married this man from Texas. And but if you know God, or you are a pastor, or you are a student in the Bible, go in very deep knowledge of God, want to know, then you should read in the Bible that how a husband should be like, and what a wife should be like, because it's in the Bible what it says about really people that is God's children. So you should know. You should. One way to do it is to test him or her by taking them to the church and see how they react and how they are in that church first. If they really are praying in the church, or they are staying focused on God in the church, or if they want more social contact, if they want to have like going on a club, and you see also how they look, their clothes, what clothes they have. It's a woman should have, and that's for men also, a modest clothes. Should have modest clothes, not look like a Christmas tree. It's not about you. And when you go to the church, it's not about you. It's not that you should find a husband or wife in the church in that way, that you look like you should look like, that you want to look like in the club. You should know the difference. In the old time, when I was a child and we were to the church sometimes, something we should watch on that was going on in the church. There was also, even if we were not going to the church, there was something that was called Sunday clothes. It was clothes that was hanging in the wardrobe that we only use it on Sundays, the clothes, or when we are going to celebrate a birthday like that, but not ordinary clothes. And that I see very, very wrong in many churches, that people don't have those clothes that God is telling us how to wear, what to wear. It's not about high heels. It's not about lots of gold around it. It's not the gold calf you worship. It's God. So you understand that if you were not, you maybe know you could tell the whole Bible, but you didn't know what it means to be a child of God, and you running around and then find this man of the or woman of the world, and you marry. That's okay to divorce them, but not if you have get a relationship with God. You can't divorce. So this it was something I should talk about, that I have not come into that part yet. But I find out it was these strange things. We were in the evening have a Bible study, and this pastor was there with his wife, and suddenly it come out from me. It was God that come out from me. It's very strange when it happened. It have happened some few times, and this was a time when God come out from me. So I don't know. I was in like a worship, and suddenly I go up to the pastor, and I don't know really what was said, because God have taken over my body. So, but I know that it was something screaming at pastor, that he was not a real pastor, and that wife that he had was not his real wife. He had a wife already, so this was not his wife. And I remember how I wake up, and then I saw that pastor. He was really, really frightened, really frightened eyes, and was like take many steps back, and really frightened on what's say to him, and it was like a shock. So he never was on me saying something, and it was like going back to a normal be together in this Bible study evening, and but then after it's come a pastor, that co-pastor to this one, and he told me that he thought it was me that was talking when God come out from me, and he said that he have a wife in New York. He have children in New York, he say, and this is not his wife, but he had a child with her, and they say that to me, confirm it, but I didn't know it, but I come to know, and then I start to hear also that they did drugs, and one morning when my deacons come and should take us home from our job in the van, then suddenly he was very close to crash into a tunnel there on our way. You know this tunnel between Norfolk and Portsmouth, and crash into the wall there, and it was because he did drugs. It was he did drugs the whole night and was on drugs when he was driving. So the girls say we are not going with the van back home. So we tried to take the bus, and it was 3 buses to take. So it was too much for us, and then I come home in the morning, and the deacon was not there in our home, but when I saw that it had been party there, it was full of drugs, and I find some cigarettes, like I know how it looked like when they have done their own cigarettes like that, and so when the deacon come, I threw out all his clothes, and I say to him that you have to find your own place. I stay here, I say to him. And so I was by myself, but I had a job, so I could pay the rent, and then I had when I fly to United States, a friend told me to take your gold with you. If something happened, you need to have money, you can go to the pawn store and get money from your gold. So I had a bag full of gold and it was from my mother that I have got lots of gold. And then one day I was in the church, and it was a pastor that called just in the service when our pastor was preaching, and I was still in this with this church that do drugs, and but when he was preaching, the pastor got a call, and it was another pastor that have just opened a new church, and he wanted us to come and celebrate his new church. So we should go directly after the service, travel I don't remember what city we were going to, but maybe 2 hours drive to that church. And we were there and celebrate the whole day. So when I come home, it was night. It was about 12 o'clock in the night, and I have kicked out this deacon. He was not with us in the church. He was gone from everything, and so we stopped, and those they always did this. With the black men always make sure that you are inside the home. They don't drive away before you have closed your door behind you. And that is very good that they do like that and not stress away. So I went up to my home and it was black, there were no light. But when I come up on the porch, the door was open. The door stood open, and I was in the door opening, and then I heard a voice, and it said, "This what the devil is saying." He said, "Eva, Eva, is it you? Come, Eva," like that voice, not a normal voice. The devil is so smooth in his talking, and if he wants something. So I turned away and went to the van, to this man and say, I can't go in there. I'm scared. There is someone inside my home. I told them. So they took me in the van, and there was one white woman in the van that was in the church, and she said I could sleep in her home. So I was thinking I sleep until it's light outside, and then I can go into my home. And I just that morning when I should go to the church service, I was like had a stress, disorganization, that I didn't hide my gold. Those gold I had with me to United States, it was laying on a table openly. Everyone could see it if that was inside my home. And I was thinking that someone that is in my home, he will see my gold laying there. So now it's gone when I'm coming back to my home in the morning. And I say that to this woman that I was in her home, and I say that, and we were praying very hard for the gold, to the jewelers to be there when I was coming home. And this woman, she took time to, I wanted, let us go back to my home immediately in the morning. But she had to do every other things. So it was about lunchtime when I come back to my home, and it was full sunshine, and it was in that area where people did drugs. It was in that time was it the worst area in the whole United States. It was so full of drugs and criminals in that area where I was living. And when we come there in lunchtime, I was thinking nothing there is there, no furniture, nothing. It's empty and everything. And the door stood open. The door was half open, and I go in there, and on the table, like shining on the table where the gold, the jewelers was laying there. Nothing was touched in my home, nothing. And it stood open. It was not locked, my home, and it was there. So that was one really that I could tell that God took care of the protection. It was so clearly for me that I had eyes on me from heaven that took care of what's important, because I could manage it, but it was gold from my mother. It was not something I have bought. It was old gold that one necklace that my mother have got when she did a confirmation in 1925. There was gold from that time, and so it was not about the value of the gold. It was because it was a memory of my mother, and it was there. So there is, it's like a spirit is something that is on its way. It have not been so hard on me, but now it start to be very hard on me. And it's a man again. Again, I say, because it was a man yesterday when I was outside and was did a live broadcasting on Facebook. Then it come Jesus and talking, and I don't know who it is. I only know that is a man here. He's a very tall man. I see him. And he say precious. He say precious. What's pressure? For what pressure? Treasure, pressure, pressure, treasure. He's saying like that. What is the treasure? I ask him. What's a treasure? What is the pressure? It's the finest gold, he say. It's the treasure in your heart. That's the jeweler. That what's in your heart is the gold, the jeweler. That's pressure for us. What's in your heart? A heart means everything. A heart in a person means everything, he say. It's They say that the heart is like the energy that pull us closer to you. The relationship is heart is the center of the relationship. A person need to have their heart right for us to could come closer and talk to you and help you. It's he said that there's so much going on that the devil have make people stay in focus on other things that is in the world. It's so much hate going on, he said, and he's talking about this with the Oscar statues of the winning of the Oscars in the film in Hollywood, and he's talking about the Ukraine war that have going on and off the whole time. There is a war going on that have nothing with the weapon to do. It have always been a crisis place. And he want me to tell you that my daughter she is in a church, and in that church they have only people from Ukraine that is coming every summer to work for them, because they are out and driving around on the marketplaces in the summer, and they are called, the church is called the Lone Star, because they love cowboys style church. They have many things with them out and get money from when they ride the bull riding, and they have kebab food with the moose meat, that is rare meat, that they have moose meat that they are selling, and many other things. They dancing square dance and these things, cowboy things, and so they need people that work for them in the summer. So there is always coming people from Ukraine to them, and they are very poor. This is not Ukraine is not the country that people are. It's almost the same as Russia. There is people that is very, very poor. In every country is there wealthy people, but those that on the lowest level, they are very, very poor. So they are happy to come to Sweden and get food and get. They don't get any money, but they can have a nice summer in Sweden and work for to get food. And so I know I have met many of them, because some of them is married now in my daughter's church. They met some Swedish men, and they have been poor the whole time. It's not that it's not a country like United States, Canada, or Germany, like that. It have always been a a poor country, poverty. So it have always been a conflict, and they have never been in on our level for people. They have suffering, people, even when it have not been war. So that's something in the media is it's talking about to create their own jobs. So it's have always have been sad about Ukrainian people. They have not been more wealthy country. So that's what this man wanted me to tell you, that I know about Ukraine before this happened. I know people. I have maybe 20 Facebook friends from Ukraine or so. So I know what's have going on. So this is not new things. And so I'm not into politics. So that's what I wanted to talk about Ukraine and nothing more. I only feel sorry for all people that is oppressed, and they are oppressed in Ukraine and have been for I don't know, in many generations. So so that's what he's talking about. The summary of what the Spirit was talking about is that it's the heart that is a center for to pull them down here on earth and talking to us. So I have pulled them here to earth, but I share it with you, what they are saying. The devil have told me for years that I should hold back and not telling anyone. That have been devil in people that is saying, you should not tell your testimony because that's a personal testimony. And I am not created like that. I share because I learn from God that you should not hide for people something that can make their life easier. You should not let them invent the wheels again. If you know something that can help them, you should tell them. That have God told me. So I do that. I don't listen to people because it's so much devil in these people. They maybe not know that they're speaking for the devil, but it's the devil that talking. So the best protection to do is only to listen to God. And I know God. I know his voice, God's voice, because he was talking to me in year 2000, and he said that it was he that was talking to Sarah and Abraham. So he make me know his voice in that way that he told me that he was with Abraham and Sarah. So I thank you for listen. I hope you learn something in every episode I want, if I could wish, if I could have a will, is it one will is to make you get aha experience in every episodes, to learn bit by bit. So thank you and God bless you.